It is Friday, May 19th. Welcome to the SVG-TV news for this evening. I am Khalil Cato with the details. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has become the 7th member state of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, ECSC, to roll out the court's e-litigation portal for the family court. The launching event took place today at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Conference Room. Information and Communication Manager with the ECSC and moderator at today's ceremony, Draymond Brissett, said since its inception, the e-litigation portal has revolutionized how the court provides access to justice. SVG's Chief Magistrate Rishan Brown welcomed the e-litigation portal to the Magistrate Court in SVG, noting that she had been dreaming of this day ever since the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court Chief Justice, Dame Janice Pereira, in her address for the law year 2022, announced plans to bring the Magistrates Court onto the portal sooner rather than later.
That one of my dreams is coming true. I think that the learned Chief Justice's remarks on that earlier occasion were inspired by the recognition of the central significance of the magistrates' courts to the administration of justice in the OACS. We process the vast majority of court cases in the sub-region by far. I dare to say that it therefore stands to reason that the magistracy is an important site for innovation that aims to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the justice system. If I describe the e-litigation portal as a good dream, I might have to say that its predecessor, GEMS, Judicial Enforcement Management System, was a bit of a nightmare. In fact, that system had a lukewarm reception, suffered from some design defects, and was woefully underutilized. I am sure that the e-litigation portal will not suffer the same fate. Essentially, the e-portal is a web-based application that allows us to have a sort of electronic registry. It facilitates the electronic filing of documents via one access point and allows for better document management and case management. This is the way of the future. In fact, this might already be the way of the present. The need for this type of electronic filing system came home to us with dramatic force during the COVID-19 pandemic, when there were restrictions on human interaction. We also received an impetus for it on the grounds of environmental sustainability and a paperless approach to the organization of our lives. In the words of the learned Chief Justice, those circumstances made us have to reimagine the justice system.
The Chief Magistrate noted that the e-litigation portal is being implemented in stages, with the first stage associated with the rollout of the portal to the civil and criminal divisions of the High Court in all 9 member states and territories of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, which was completed in October 2021, and that Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines were the last 2 member states to begin using the e-litigation portal in Phase 1.
I suppose it cannot be said that these 2 countries were early adopters. I notice that we are doing marginally better with the implementation of the e-portal to the magistracy in the 2nd phase. As we are the 7th member state or territory to adopt it. We know that 7 is a number of great symbolism in ancient Eastern and Israelite culture and is associated with fullness and completeness. Based on my orientation, I am satisfied with the e-litigation portal product. I know that a lot of thought went into the process of drafting rules for e-filing and e-servicing of complaints at the level of the magistracy. The e-litigation portal that would be used by us was customized to make sure that is best suited to the summary nature of the magistrates' courts. We extend our appreciation to the e-portal team. The portal has many practical advantages. We would have the benefit of better record keeping and management there would be a reduction in physical records, easier searching and monitoring of cases, straightforward generation of case statistics, cost savings, and potentially speedier resolution of cases. This doesn't mean that there aren't certain hazards. We have to always be vigilant about matters related to privacy and access to justice. Ultimately, we want justice to run down as waters. The ELitigation portal and all other issues that touch and concern the administration of our affairs must serve the interests of justice.
Noting that the portal cannot stand on its own, the Chief Magistrate told her colleagues in the legal profession at today's launching ceremony that they have to take a cross-cutting approach to the use of digital technology in the justice system. The Chief Magistrate said she also finds it fitting that the implementation of the e-litigation portal at the level of the magistracy in the civil division begins with the family court.
The family is the most fundamental building block or unit of our society. The family is the backbone of every nation. We have to make sure that our backbone is strong from the standpoint of justice. I appreciate the special nature of the work of the family court and the fact that the family court practices in various forms from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. The e-litigation portal team took this into consideration and made a product that is adaptable. I do not want anyone to believe that there was anything inevitable about progress and development. Martin Luther King Jr. said that progress does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, and that it is only made possible by hard work and strong leadership. I would therefore like to sound a note of appreciation for the hard work and leadership of Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice. She is a woman with vision. That is why we do not perish. Incidentally, the famous statement, "Where there is no vision, the people perish," is from Proverbs 29:18. In that same verse, there is a less well-known passage which says, "Happy is he that keepeth the law." Our Chief Justice has vision and is a keeper of the law. So, the people are not perishing and she is happy. We thank her for helping us to navigate these challenging times. She has the great drive and determination required to bring ideas to life and see projects to fruition. She is a mover and shaker. She is moving mountains. She had to be a woman.
Chief Magistrate Brown says she is happy that St. Vincent and the Grenadines now joins the other member states in the ECSC with the implementation of the e-litigation portal at the level of the magistracy, and that she is also happy of what they have been doing in the OECS, being on the cutting edge of innovation in electronic filing in the court system. This year's Fisherman's Day celebrations will be a significant milestone for fisherfolk across St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with the event now into its 46th year. This is according to Chief Fisheries Officer Jennifer Cruikshank Howard, who was addressing today's launch of the 2023 Fisherman's Day activities, which will be held under the theme, "Our Livelihood, Our Industry, Let Us Protect It Through the Blue Economy." The main events for Fisherman's Day competition will be held at the Caliaqua Fisheries Center on Monday, May 29th, commencing at 10 a.m. Howard urged all fisherfolk to take part in this year's Fisherman's Day competition, noting that registration will begin on May 22nd.
I also want to encourage all fishermen throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines to be part of the celebration, to get involved. Our registration starts on the 22nd of May, that is for fishing boats to be registered for the competition. And the competition will be held at the Caliaqua Fisheries Center, and this will be on May 29th. The boats will be landing from as early as 10. As per our experiences over the years, they can start landing as early as 10 o'clock. So we are inviting the general public to come out and support our fishers this year. We know since COVID, we had a small activity last year. This year, we have scaled up a little more, and we are anticipating that next year, we should be back on our full month of activities. So we want to thank you kindly for participating. We're anticipating your participation to come out and support the fishermen of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Outlining some of the other activities leading up to the big day, Howard said that this year the Clear Valley fishing community will come into focus.
The committee, along with the fisherfolk of Clear Valley, will be organizing a fishing competition, and this will be on the 26th of May. It's a rowboat competition. But prior to that, on the 21st of May, there will be a church service at the New Testament Church in Clear Valley at 10 o'clock in the morning. And on the 26th, there will be a fish night, and this is in collaboration with the South Leeward Carnival Development Committee. So the village of Clear Valley, they are on board with the Fishermen's Day Committee and will be involved heavily. We also have activities from the Agriculture Input Warehouse. Agriculture Input Warehouse, the Kingston Fish Market, they have organized also some competition on the 25th of May. They will be inviting the Kingston Anglican School grade 3 students to do an educational tour of the Kingston Fish Market facilities. On that same day, they will also be having a fish fillet competition, and this is to be held among the fisherfolk. And these fisherfolk are the vendors, fishermen, and the fish cleaners or fish processors.
Schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines will also be a part of this year's Fisherman's Day week of celebration.
The 26th, there will be a health fair for the vendors and members of the public who wish to have their blood pressure and blood sugar checked. There will be live entertainment from a local steel pan, and there will be presentations to the longest serving fish vendor and fishermen who operate at the Kingston Fish Market, and also for the longest serving employee of the Kingston Fish Market. Presentation will be made also to the fisherman who has landed the biggest accumulated total amount of fish for that week. We have the Girls High School. They also will be part of our celebrations, and we are happy to have another school, but this time a secondary school. The Girls High School Social Science Department, their aim this year is to bring awareness to the students on the fish or seafood aspects of our culture, and they will be hosting a local seafood exhibition on the 26th starting at 1 p.m. And they will be presenting local cuisine for their students and the public to view.
Low-lying areas in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are taking a hard hit during the current dry conditions being experienced. This is according to Agriculture Minister Soboto Caesar during an interview this morning on the API's Morning SVG program. Minister Caesar, however, noted that the Mariquar Valley has been doing the most important production during this period, particularly with dashins.
Firstly, we spotted since December last year that there was going to be a situation with drought conditions in 2023. So what we did, the projects that we were launching, we used a particular agri-ecological zone that is known for rainfall, and that is the Mariquar Valley, to do a lot of the work that we were experimented with. So yesterday we went up into the Mariquar Valley, we spoke to several farmers, and their dasheen production is actually up, because Mariquar is a special area when it comes to agriculture. As it pertains to the low-lying areas, the coastal areas, the farmers are being hit in a very hard way. The hot sun, the dry spell is definitely harsh.
The Agriculture Minister said that the ministry continues to provide assistance to farmers to help get them through the dry spell, especially livestock farmers.
And for example, the livestock farmers are receiving assistance. We are ensuring that the jeeps from the Ministry of Agriculture, they go around on a daily basis speaking to the farmers and taking water to the animals, taking grass to the animals, and assisting the farmers to move things around. We have not experienced deaths or anything as yet from the drought in terms of the death in animals, but this is something that we experienced about 3 years ago when we had a very, very harsh drought. In some areas, you're getting rain intermittently, so the pastures are not as bad. And we assisted the farmers with urea, the urea we received from Venezuela, and this definitely is assisting the pastures to recover. But I want to encourage the livestock farmers. We're expecting rains very soon. We're coming to the tail end of this extremely dry spell. The Ministry of Agriculture will continue to do the work to assist you.
Minister Caesar said livestock farmers who have not gotten any help should contact the Ministry of Agriculture or a vet in your area.
So the first point of contact is usually the vet in the area. You could speak to the vet. You can also come into the headquarters in Kingstown, speak to the front desk. There's a direct line to the Chief Agriculture Officer. And I want to use this opportunity to thank Mr. Gomes and his technical team for being very proactive. Also, you can speak to persons at the agriculture stations. Leave your name, leave your telephone number, leave the number of animals you have, and the direction to the farm, and we will address it. Now, except it's really a new farmer, we have a cadre of farmers who we continue to work with on an annual basis, because as we grapple with the vagaries of climate change, this is not just a 2023 matter. As far back as 2018, we were working with farmers. But as you said correctly, there may be a farmer who is hearing it for the first time. Please speak to your other farmers, your neighboring farmers, and become a part of the loop, or check the station, the agriculture station in your area.
Meanwhile, Minister Caesar said in the next 2 weeks, farmers across SVG will receive fertilizer to assist with their crop production. Caesar said that over 6,000 sacks of fertilizer would be distributed to farmers island-wide, noting that some are from a shipment received from Venezuela and a shipment from Morocco.
You had taken off as much as $10 per sack, and it made it more affordable. In fact, we have the cheapest fertilizer in the entire OECS. Now, we receive 40,000 sacks of urea from Venezuela, and we have 3,000 sacks remaining for distribution, and this will take place in the next 2 weeks. We also receive from Taiwan 3,500 sacks of fertilizer, NPK, and these were distributed already to banana farmers. So persons who are listening, the fertilizer that came from Taiwan was specifically for the banana farmers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And during the course of today, we'll be offloading some 3,500 sacks of fertilizer, which will be stored at the input warehouse, and we will have a distribution in about 2 weeks' time.
Minister Caesar said with a significant increase in the cost of fertilizer globally, the government decided to secure fertilizer for farmers to help with food production. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines has urged the United Nations member states to prioritize addressing financing gaps and mechanisms to provide support and resources for early preparedness as small island developing states, SIDS, continue to grapple with the adverse effects of climate change and associated risk. The country's Minister of Sustainable Development, Honorable Carlos James, made the call at the high-level meeting on the midterm review of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, held at the United Nations General Assembly in New York yesterday. The high-level meeting brought together leaders from all sectors to discuss disaster risk reduction and its role in accelerating the implementation of the 2030 Agenda and other key intergovernmental frameworks. In his statement to the UN General Assembly, Minister James urged leaders to focus on accelerating disaster risk financing, as it is inextricably linked to the broader framework of reforms needed on international development financing. According to Minister James, recognizing the critical nature of disaster risk reduction, St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues to commit significant resources across the spectrum, from disaster preparedness to recovery, strengthening its management of disaster risk reduction programs, while exponentially increasing investments in all aspects of resilience. The Sendai framework focuses on adopting measures that address the three dimensions of disaster risk: exposure to hazards, vulnerability and capacity, and hazards characteristics, to prevent the creation of new risks, reduce existing risks, and increase resilience. Since the adoption of the Sendai framework, SVG has focused on resilience, making it a key component of its policy agenda as it recovers from multiple natural disasters and the explosive eruption of La Soufrière. The high-level meeting provided a platform for member states, the United Nations system partners, and other stakeholders to reflect on the findings and recommendations of the midterm review, examine context shifts and emerging issues since 2015, and identify course corrections and new initiatives to more effectively address the systemic nature of risk and realize the outcomes and goals of the Sendai framework, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the Paris Agreement, and other agreements, frameworks, and conventions. The St. Vincent Grammar School has won this year's National Science Quiz. The second place position went to the St. Joseph's Convent, Mariquard, followed by the Central Leeward Secondary School in third place. The competition was hosted by the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation in collaboration with Macmillan Education, Vitamalt, and the SVG Science Teachers Association. 5 second form students participated in the finals of the quiz today. The other 2 finalists were a representative from the Beckwith Community High School and the Sandy Bay Secondary. Excuse me. Giving a brief overview of the National Science Quiz was Education Officer for Science, Juanita King, who noted that 15 secondary schools participated in the preliminary round of the competition.
Now, Science Quiz is in its second year of operation. We would have started in 2019 with a big bang. However, because of the big bang of the volcano and the impact of the COVID-19 situation, we had to postpone and postpone and postpone the event. But we're back again. And I think we're back in a strong way. We had the St. Joseph Convent, Mariquard. We had participating in Zone 1. We had the West St. George Secondary School. In Zone 2, we had Bethel High, Bucament Bay Secondary, and Central Leeward Secondary. Zone 3, we had participation from the Beckwith Community High, Canawan Secondary, and let me just pause there and say that this is the first time that Canawan, because it's such a new school, is participating in an event for science. Union Island Secondary, those were in Zone 3. We also had in Zone 4, St. Vincent Girls High School, St. Joseph Convent Kingstown, St. Vincent Grammar School, Thomas Saunders Secondary, St. Martin Secondary, and Zone 5, Sandy Bay Secondary, Georgetown Secondary, and Adelphi Secondary.
Senior Education Officer Aldia Gumsdyer said that the quiz provides the opportunity for the second form students to show off their knowledge, skills, and positive attitudes they have developed in studying science.
And so today's event will be a demonstration of the multiple activities that can be used to engage our students. The Ministry of Education and Reconciliation continues to invest heavily in our students, teachers, and ancillary staff to help students maximize their potentials. We are a small nation, but we are hoping that activities like these and the discipline of science will be used to drive not only individual ambitions.
Almost 200 persons with mental health illnesses, the majority being males, are currently being housed at the Mental Health Rehabilitation Center. This is according to Counselor in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Elika Matthews, who provided the statistics on NBC Radio's face-to-face program today while discussing Mental Health Awareness Week, which runs from May 15th to 21st under the theme, Look Around, Look Within.
As of yesterday, on female ward, we had 49 patients. We find that those patients, it's a compilation of different ones. So you have persons who may be suffering from bipolar disorder, schizoaffective disorder. We do have some older geriatric long-stay patients, those being the older patients who don't have anywhere to go, who are also diagnosed with mental illnesses. And on the male ward, we have 130 male patients. And those male patients are a variation. We have bipolar disorder, schizoaffective disorder, schizophrenia, and substance use related disorders. And the major substance use related disorder that we see here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is cannabis use. But that does not make up the sole statistics for psychiatric. We do also have outpatient clinics where we have in Georgetown, we have in Enums, Bookament, we have an outpatient at mental health. Those figures I don't have because I won't get them at the institution. So when we think about numbers, the numbers that I have today for mental health, that would make up 130 and 49, which is 179 at the institution. And that changes on a daily basis as people are discharged and admitted, because mental health is a hospital. It's not a long stay facility. So persons, they're unwell, they come, they get their medication, and as they're stable enough to go back out into the community, then we send them out.
With more males than females at the facility suffering with mental health illnesses, Matthews says what is also clear is that the females tend to take their medication more than males.
So from personal assessment, what I look at, women have greater help-seeking behavior. So what you find is that at the outpatient clinics, you have a larger amount of females that come to outpatient clinic, do their check-ins, take their medication, whereas the males don't come as frequently as they should, and they abuse substances more so than females, and that kind of causes the disproportion in numbers, where women have health-seeking behaviors, so they would go to the doctor, they would check in, so they're less frequently admitted to mental health, whereas males not so much. And in addition to that, part of their coping strategies include using cannabis, alcohol, etc.
Social worker Roselle Solomon says that persons should be more mindful of individuals suffering with mental illnesses, as a supportive environment will aid them on the path to recovery.
What we do affects someone who has a mental health challenge, and someone who's constantly discriminated against, stigmatized. Oftentimes they bring that stigma inside of them, so they start feeling a sense of worthlessness. So what we do affects someone who's going through something grave. Imagine yourself going through something challenging and individuals are pressuring you. They are no different. We are no different when we go through challenges. We need support. So definitely we need to have a supportive environment. We need to be there for those experiencing mental health challenges and their families, because how we react and respond to individuals over a period of time, they internalize that, and we don't want that. We want people to come out feeling worthy and valuable and being a productive part of our society, because no matter what, we all go through something and we still have a lot to give to our country.
Chief Nutritionist in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Nicole France, is urging the general public to ensure that they read food labels and adhere to a healthy lifestyle, as these are crucial steps in maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Speaking to the Agency for Public Information, France explained that the nutritional value alerts consumers to the contents of the products before they are consumed, and that this is important, especially for people who suffer from chronic non-communicable diseases and those with allergies. Nutrition Awareness Week will involve a series of activities regarding food, nutrition, and quality of food intake. Nutrition Week begins on Sunday with a church service and will feature participation from secondary school students as well as members of the general public. The week's activities will draw to an end with a Caribbean Nutrition Day Health Fair on Thursday, June 1st, and a supermarket visit on Friday, June 2nd. The theme for Nutrition Awareness Week 2023 is Read Your Labels, Put Healthy Foods on Your Table. And a series of community meetings are to be held across the country in the upcoming weeks to inform residents about projects being undertaken by the Ministry of Transport Works, Lands and Physical Planning. The projects are being implemented island-wide through the Natural Disaster Management Project Implementation and Management Unit. The first in the series of meetings by the project team will be held at the Dixon Methodist School on Tuesday, May 30th from 5 p.m. Residents, property owners, farmers, and other stakeholders in Dixon and Perseverance are being urged to attend the meeting to discuss the Dixon Bridge and Perseverance Road projects. Parliamentary representative for the area, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, will be in attendance. Members of the project team will be on hand to provide an overview of the projects and to address any questions and concerns. The 5 young ladies who will be vying for the title of Miss Windward 2023 were unveiled last evening. The 5 contestants and their sponsors are Janisha Cupid of Sanssouci, sponsored by Seaview Gardens Beach Club and Resort; Zada Barker of Orange Hill, sponsored by Vinci Print Plus; Donicia Yearwood of Calder, sponsored by Woodsy's Bar and Restaurant; Veronique Thomas of Sandy Bay, sponsored by House of Ellis; and Beyonce Kwashi of Georgetown, sponsored by Foreign Base Entertainment. The Miss Windward pageant will be held on June 23rd at the Seaview Gardens Beach Club in Georgetown.